Good morning, y'all. It is first thing on Monday morning, August the 29th. We're getting ready for week 2. And I just want to tell you guys, great job on the lessons this week. The discussion forum was fun. Some of you are a mess. Good grief. And also, good job on the Google Collaborative assignment. For the last couple of semesters, we've used the wiki that's built into Blackboard, and it was just ridiculous. It was frustrating. It was hard to use. So I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys to see if, collaborating on that Google document was easy. If anybody ran into any problems, we may just go that route from now on if it worked well for everybody. My example, speaking of the Google Collaborative assignment, my example of that chart, the criminologist versus criminalist, should be available to you tomorrow, Tuesday, August 30th, after midnight, so that you can take a look at exactly what responses you put in, kind of double check yourself, cross-reference some of those other answers, and to be able to use it as a study guide for the quiz on Friday. So you'll have that available to you first thing Wednesday morning when you roll out of bed. I'd log back in and just kind of double check maybe what responses you posted versus where I might have placed things as well. It's always tough for me, and I had to learn to kind of categorize those into a couple of different ways. First of all, think in terms, and some of you haven't actually posted yet, so this might be a little bit of a boost for some of the folks who joined us kind of late. Think in terms of a criminologist as somebody who is expanding knowledge in the field. So someone who does research, someone who teaches, someone who writes the textbooks, otherwise just kind of expands that body of knowledge for the rest of us. A criminalist, actually that's what I wanted to do when I was in high school. A criminalist is the one who works with the science involved. So think of anybody in a lab taking measurements. A criminal justice professional, so criminologists deal with knowledge, criminalists deal with science. Criminal justice professionals, bless their hearts, are the ones who have to deal with us, that end up working directly with people. So if that kind of helps you, and there are exceptions to those rules, some things that kind of bleed over between categories. But that just kind of helps me frame things to complete that chart. This week, you have a discussion forum and a quiz. So it's pretty light. You have several reading assignments to get done, but in terms of hitting deadlines, you should be good. Remember that your discussion forums, in order to get the full points possible, you need to log in and contribute at least 2 days a week. You can't get full credit if you only do it once a week. I had a couple of questions already about the discussion forum for this week, so let's talk about that for just a second. In your reading, we're going to talk about, and your reading assignments are going to cover, the difference between criminal behavior and deviant behavior. So criminal is clearly something that is against the law. It is a crime. It's punishable by a number of different sanctions, fines, jail time, things like that. Deviant behavior is just not quite right. Those are things that are not at all socially acceptable or culturally acceptable. And, as we've talked about before, those things will kind of vary depending on location and time. Think in terms of examples that are deviant but not criminal. So things that the rest of us wouldn't dare do or would look at as socially unacceptable. There's no real law against it. Or things that are criminal but not deviant. So if you got caught, you would absolutely have some sort of consequence. But everybody does it, so it's not that uncommon. Also, I don't think I referenced last week, I do maintain a Facebook page. It's Autumn's CRIM 102 class. So I will include a link with this message so you can access it. I use it more often than not just to kind of share examples, to really bookmark great stories that may be applicable in later weeks throughout the semester. But I did find one this morning that was in the newsletter this week that would be an example of something that is criminal but not deviant. So if you go on the Facebook page or just follow the link that I'm going to provide, you'll find out that it's not uncommon, crazy number of people who are driving, operating a motor vehicle without proper insurance, which is something that we're required to do, right? When you renew your plates, you have to have proof of insurance, your driver's license, and your taxes. So how many people are on the road right now without that? According to that newsletter story, quite a few. It's not at all something that's deviant. A lot of people are doing it, but it's absolutely against the law. That's not how we're expected to operate. Other times in the past, students have given examples of things that are deviant but not criminal. So in previous semesters, people have referenced facial tattoos, right? So people who get those crazy markings and symbols all over their face, that's totally deviant. There's nothing against, there's no law against getting tattoos, but goodness, it's just weird to have them all over your face. It's funny that even 2 or 3 years later now, I would argue I know as many very wealthy old women in this community who have facial tattoos. Now, they're not like teardrop prison tattoos. The women that I'm talking about have lip liner and eyeliner and eyebrows tattooed on their face so that they don't have to put makeup on a regular basis. So even though it may have been deviant before, in certain circles, it's becoming super, super common. Weird, whatever. Okay, so those are 2 examples. Neither one of them you can use in your discussion forum. So just to kind of get the wheels turning and help you think through some of those things, but those are off limits. So, all right, if there's anything that you need help with this week, by all means, email me, text me, call me. You know where to find me. Don't get stuck. Don't get frustrated. You can always use the Ask the Class forum too, and we'll just kind of go from there. You guys have a great week. Bye-bye.